$100,000 a year. Would that change your life if you could make $100,000 a year? If you're a student, you're still in high school, maybe you're in junior college or college, maybe you're in your master's program or some advanced program, and so you've got a lot of schoolwork to do. Maybe you're in high school or junior college or college. You can only work maybe 20 hours a week because you got all that work to do with regard to your schoolwork. But you can work 20 hours a week and you'd like to start building towards $100,000 a year income even before you get out of school, before you get out of high school, before you get out of junior college. Well, that's what we've been talking about now for 2 days. You go back, and you may choose to go back 2 days and watch the last 2 days. You're going to find that we listed about 10, I think, different opportunities where you can make $100,000 a year with absolutely no dollars spent, only your time, that could be done almost 100% from your home. Sometimes you have to leave the house to go do some of the services. Sometimes you want to leave the house to do some networking. But by and large, it's from your house, it's online, or the marketing's done online, or even the work is done online. We're going to talk about a bunch more today and a bunch more tomorrow. There's no chance we'll finish all of the ones I have on the list today. And they're great ones. These are opportunities. If you have the right skills, if you have the right capabilities, if you have the right experience, believe me, you can make $100,000 a year doing the things I'm going to describe. So this is Randy Kirk at Small Business Daily, and we're going to get right into it. Let's just talk about a couple of these ideas. Here's one that I'm going to start with one you're not going to like. You're not going to want to do it. And then I'm going to tell you how maybe you'd like to do it, but maybe you won't like it even then. But one of the reasons why you can make $100,000 a year doing it is because people don't want to do it. Okay, so what am I talking about here? What I'm talking about is janitorial services, home cleaning or commercial building cleaning. Okay, do you want to do that? Does that sound like fun? Cleaning other people's toilets and being in nasty environments where you have to clean stuff up? No, you're probably not. That's probably not exciting. It's probably not high on your list of things you want to do. But guess what? If you're a good house cleaner, I don't know what you're paying for your housekeeper, but if you're a good one, it's at least in the Southern California area, it's well over $100 a day for a good house cleaner. So if you're only working 5 days a week, you're making about a little over $20,000 a year if you're charging $125, $130 a day to clean homes. Now you turn around and you say, well, I'll work 7 days. Okay, now you're up to $35,000 a year. Now let's say that you get an assistant. Okay, and you're paying the assistant less than that, okay? And then you're making something on the assistant. And then at some point, you're not doing the work. The assistant's doing the work. You're starting to get my drift. Pretty soon, you've got 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 of these people out that are doing the actual work. You're just making the override because what? Because you are doing the marketing. I know it's a recurring theme if you watch the last 2 days, but it's just the truth. I had a gal that I really liked that was cleaning my house when I lived in West Los Angeles. She needed more work. I put her up on Google My Business. And at one point, she finally called me and she said, Randy, is there any way to take me off of Google My Business? I can't take any more work. And I hate telling people no. And I said, well, why don't you hire some people to do the work? She says, I don't want to manage others. So do you see the opportunity there? Do you see the opportunity? She didn't want to do the marketing, and most housekeepers don't do any marketing. All of a sudden, I did the marketing for her. She got all this work, and she didn't want to manage others. So if you're willing to do some work, you might have to go out and actually clean some houses, and you're willing to do the marketing, and then you're willing to hire others and manage them, and realize that especially in house cleaning, that's sometimes can be a little complicated. But if you're willing to do all that, believe me, there's $100,000 a year, probably while you're still in school, probably 20 hours a week. Now, you may have to work 40 in order to really get there, but maybe you can work 20 because you can always outsource all of the work, okay? At some point, all of the work can be done for you. You don't have to do the scheduling. You can get somebody to do scheduling for you. You don't have to do the hiring and firing. You can get somebody to do that for you. So as your business grows, you get to a point where all you're doing is managing a couple of managers and the rest of the work's being done because it's a fairly simple business. Now, you want to up it a notch, you can become a commercial cleaner. You can become a janitorial service for commercial sized buildings. Offices are a little easier, but then you have to have a lot more of them. Factories and warehouses, they become a lot bigger. There's a lot more money involved. So, but you become a commercial cleaner. Again, you can start with one, start with two, start with three. Maybe you're doing it yourself. Maybe you're doing it with a buddy. And slowly but surely, you can build yourself an organization that's going to actually do the work. Even if you and your buddy did all the work, you can probably get to the 100,000 a year when you're doing commercial property, because you can charge a lot more per hour to do commercial property than you do homes. One of the key parts about doing that is most of the commercial cleaning people are not that affable. They're not that much fun. If you become the one who they like, and you're fun and you're interesting and you pay attention to them and you do all the things right, you're likely to really start to rake in the business. Once again, advertising and promoting your business becomes key. We've talked about that ad infinitum for 2 days. Go back and take a look, but Google My Business, Yelp. There's a number of places where you'll be able to advertise. You'll need you'll probably want a website. Again, all of that can be free. Nothing I've talked about so far costs you a dime to get in this business. So that's another possibility for you. Second today, let me talk about one that'd be way more fun, and that's a tour director. So do you live in a neighborhood where people want to take tours? Do you live near a beach? Do you live near a river? Do you live in an older town that has some historic significance? Do you have a great restaurant section where people would do restaurant tours? Is there something like Napa where there's wineries that need tours? Is there, or Sonoma where there's cheese, where people need to go do the cheese tours? So what's your city got? What's your neighborhood got? What's your area got that needs a tour? And then you can do tours. Now, if you want to start for free and you don't want to spend any money, you've got to do walking tours. So that might be this restaurant tour. I went on a tour years ago. It was midnight in Los Angeles. And they leased the bus. So they didn't own the transportation. They leased the bus to take us around to companies that were open in the middle of the night, or that they were doing something in the middle of the night that was interesting. So, we went to the flower market downtown. We went to the vegetable market downtown and saw what the market looked like as people were coming in and buying their flowers for their flower shops, and people were buying their vegetables for their restaurants and grocery store. So that's were two of the places they took us. So that was a tour. There's a million different ways to do tours. I know that there are tour buses. I'm in Los Angeles area. Believe me, there's tours all over the place for all kinds of things. So how do you become a tour director? Well, you design the tour. One that I've been recommending for years, I think somebody should do, is a bicycle ride up Mount Baldy. It's a reasonably okay trip to go up Mount Baldy. So decent riders can make the thing on their first try, especially if they have a week or so to plan. And you can charge people to ride up Mount Baldy on their bicycle. It goes on and on. Imagine the possibilities, something that you're interested in, something that you find fun, something that you have some knowledge about or can gain the knowledge. All the knowledge is already out there. And then there's a million online services. When I go to a city, maybe you do the same thing. You go to a new city, you go in and you look up 10 best things to do in Los Angeles, 10 best things to do in San Diego. And then, you pick up the phone and call. I'm always looking for boating outings. So do you know something about boating? Can you run a sailboat? Well, maybe you could do charter sailboats on somebody else's sailboat. You're renting the sailboat from them, and then you're going and taking people out on the sailboat. So bunches of different ways to do the tour business, and make sure that you're listed on all the listings where you're coming. When people are coming into town, they're going to find you on those listings. So that's yet another business. Another one that, if you happen to have some math capability and a little bit of business background, maybe you've been a bookkeeper for somebody, one of the oldest side gigs ever is the local bookkeeper. Is very common. I know several people that are in that business. where all you're doing, you're not the CPA, you're not doing the taxes. All you're doing is the books. And maybe you're helping people to set their books up properly on some kind of a bookkeeping system. It's teachable, it's learnable. You can go online and learn everything there is to know about bookkeeping. You can work with a CPA to teach you the things that you don't know. One of the ways that you're going to want to get business is you're going to go to every CPA firm in your town and you're going to say, I have a bookkeeping service and I'm looking for bookkeeping. I know you guys don't want to do the bookkeeping. That's not where you're going to make your money. So all I'll do is help on the bookkeeping side, and I'll always be looking to you to help me learn to be better at bookkeeping. You're going to go online on YouTube, you're going to go on Yelp, you're going to go on Google My Business, you're going to go on social media, and you're going to make sure that the entire neighborhood knows that you're now a bookkeeper. If you have a little more interest in moving your business more quickly, then you just go door to door. You walk in the door of every retailer and every service company and every doctor and lawyer office, and you walk in and you go, I'm offering bookkeeping services. I don't want to take a lot of your time, but if you need a bookkeeper, or you can pay me, the bookkeeper, way less to do the books than you're paying your CPA to do the books, but the CPA still does the higher level stuff, then you want to use me as your bookkeeper. So it's, again, quite easy. There's no investment except your time to become a bookkeeper. It is something that people expect, and they know that it's common for companies, small companies, let's say with less than 10 employees, to use outside bookkeeping to get the job done. And it's fairly easy to get yourself recognized online, as well as going around and talking to a power partner. We call the CPA the power partner, who is going to recommend you and or work with you to get that kind of work. So super simple, do it from home. Absolutely no cost to get started would be a bookkeeping business, and $100,000 a year, no problem. You're just charge $50 an hour for your services. Nobody's even going to ask you how much you're charging for your services. You're going to give them a quote based on $50 an hour, and believe me, your quote will be great compared to the CPA that's going to probably be charging $125 to $150 an hour for bookkeeping services. A business that will take a little bit of time and energy to become certificated is a real estate appraiser. It is a great business. It's better if you have some building experience. Maybe you've been a builder and you've learned something about the building trades, but there are schools to learn how to become an appraiser. There is a certification required in order for you to be an appraiser, but it is definitely something you make $100,000 a year at, because again, most people that have their license don't do any marketing. They go around to the real estate people and let them know. They go around to the banks, go around to the mortgage people and let them know in their business. They go online, they list themselves in all the places we've been talking about. Maybe they join a networking group, they join the chamber, they make themselves visible, and the business is going to roll in. And I don't mean roll in. I don't want to make it sound that simple, but in this case, yeah, you might spend a few dollars to learn how to become an appraiser. You might have to spend a few dollars to get your certification, but once you've got it and once you know how to appraise, it's money in the bank. It could be a side gig, it could be full-time. Commonly, some appraisers have the side gig of also being notaries. You can't make $100,000 a year as a notary. By the time you drive to some place and you do all the work, they're not paying you enough. There's too many notaries out there. But if you're a notary in addition to doing something else, then that becomes a side gig that can pay you enough to move you up the ladder. So that's a couple of real estate opportunities that are out there. Of course, you can become a real estate agent. And you can't do that from your home, but you can certainly start for free. It doesn't cost you, there's a test to take, but if you go down to almost any real estate company in town, they will absolutely pay you to get into business. So in that case, you will still be a W-2 employee, but believe me, being a real estate agent is nothing like being a regular W-2 employee. You are a sales agent, and it's up to you to go out and make it happen. Oh, they're going to help you, and they're going to encourage you, they're going to motivate you, and they're going to give you lots of recommendations, but you are nothing like a W-2 employee when you're a real estate agent. In an almost related, it can be a real estate business, and it's one place where you look for business. But videographers today are totally in demand. So videographers are called on to go in every time a new house goes on the market, especially the more expensive homes. The owners and the real estate agent want somebody to come in and do a video walkthrough in the home. There's a lot of new technology and stuff that's going on with regard to that right now, with 3D and with kind of a 3D effect. You might want to invest in a drone so that you can do flyovers. So there's a lot of ways to play the game, but believe me, have camera will travel. You can start immediately doing videography of real estate properties just by being a little bit under the market and doing a good job. How do you do a good job? Again, you go online, you learn how to become a real estate videographer. There's plenty of content online talking about how to do it right. I've done dozens and dozens and dozens of homes with real estate clients. I like to do it with the real estate agent with me. I'd like the real estate agent to do the walkthrough so that they're also getting screen time. They're building up their brand, their personal brand, at the same time that they're doing the house. So that's the way I like to do it. Other people just do the fly through the house, do the drone overhead, and they don't have the real estate agent in the action. Then the editing can become fun, and again, online using Fiverr. Down below, you can find the link to Fiverr. You can find editors on Fiverr that will do great real estate editing. They will do all kinds of fancy drop-ins and special effects of this real estate opportunity. If you're the one that's doing the special effects and you're doing the drop-ins and you're doing stuff that's much more interesting than other folks, now all of a sudden you can charge what they do or more. Again, $50 an hour shouldn't be a problem. But videography doesn't stop there. Videography can be done with product videos, in-use videos. Videography can be done where you're going out and actually helping somebody to do the videos that they're going to be putting up on YouTube about their business. Videos can be done as part of a drone. Again, if you own a drone and you learn how to use the drone and it's got a video camera on it, you can use the drone with a camera to do visual inspections of property or of farmland, or other kind of situations. I know people that do this, and there's plenty of business in the drone with video category right now. Again, put yourself up online, offering those services, your phone will ring. Because why? Once again, this is a category that not a lot of people want to do. Videography is not that hard, but most people think it is. Editing videos is not that hard. I don't want to do editing videos. That's why I pay editors. I don't want to do drones. I've got a drone. I barely use it. I tried it. It was hard in the wind, especially, but it was a little inexpensive, lightweight drone. If you're going to do videography, you're going to need a heavyweight drone, and you're going to need to learn how to use it. But it isn't that hard. And there's plenty of instruction out there to learn how to use a drone. So videography doesn't stop with real estate videography. There's a ton of other places, including weddings, of course, that need videography. So this is another one. You can start with almost no or no money. Your iPhone camera will do an amazing job of almost everything that you need done. It is better than any camera, any video camera that was in existence 5 years ago. And I can make an argument that it's better in many ways than a lot of the video cameras that you would spend $500, $600, $700 for right now. Spending $1,000, $2,000 for a video camera, it'll be better than your iPhone. But that's where we are right now. If you'd like to learn a lot more about videography and about videoing, again, I recommend Think Media. They are mentioned in the links below. So videography would be one more category. I'm going to end on this fun one. Again, nobody does this. A lot of people talk about it. Event planning. So I know a lot of, in particular, women, not too many men, but I do know a few men, who get into wedding planning. They think that's the event. Well, it's a great thing to plan, and maybe that's what you would really like to do, and work with the brides and work with the bakeries and get everything all planned out so that the bride does very well. I don't think you're going to make $100,000 a year as an event planner, because there's a lot of event planners that want to do weddings. So it's going to be hard for you to get up to that number unless you have some kind of an in with the aristocracy, the folks that do the $25,000, $50,000, $100,000, $200,000 weddings. Yeah, now you can make that $100,000 a year. But if you don't, and you like event planning, then what you want to do is you want to get in the event planning business that is, in fact, going to be able to pay you that kind of money. And that would be weekend event, weekend sales, grand openings, pop-up events, anything that has to do with a community, the community putting something together that they want to bring in large crowds. This kind of event management pays the money that you'd like to make. It's reasonably sophisticated in terms of what you need to do, but not that hard. Because basically what you're doing is setting up a timeline, making sure that you have everything on the timeline taken care of, making sure that you have great resources, great suppliers and vendors. They're going to take care of the chairs and the tables and the screens and whatever else that you need for that event. It's something that's learnable, and it's something you learn from home. And you can start small with retail weekend sales or with retail grand openings. Again, those aren't, I don't want to diminish those. They take about 12 weeks of really good, solid planning, and I've done a lot of them. But it's something you can bite into and get started with, get your reputation built up based on the first one you do. But event planning would be, again, something, you have to leave the house in order to do the actual event usually, although sometimes I've done them remotely. Sometimes I wasn't in the neighborhood, so they had to be all remote. All I did was set the whole thing up. So it is possible to do it 100% from home from your computer. But generally speaking, you might be going out at least on the day of the event and overseeing the activities that day. But again, it costs you nothing to get into that business. And all you need to do is really hook up with the suppliers and learn how to manage the timeline. So that's all we have time for today. I got a few more for tomorrow. We'll wrap it up tomorrow. We'll talk a little bit more about kind of the way to think about all of this, the way to kind of get into the modality of being in small business for yourself. But again, what we've tried to do here is look at companies that you can start tomorrow. In most cases, in almost every case that I've given you so far, you could start the business tomorrow. You can start it 100% online. You could start it from home. You can start with zero money. And pretty much, you can start with almost no knowledge. Hopefully, it's going to be an area that you enjoy or like or have some background in, or you've done something in it that would make you believe that you'd be good at it. Those would be smart decisions to make before you go into that kind of a business, but your risk is almost zero except your time. Those are the kinds we've been looking at. If you think you want to come back tomorrow and see the final day of this opportunity, you might want to push subscribe and notify so you'll be notified about tomorrow's show. And then, of course, we have over 50 videos we've already created about other aspects of small business, and we'll be creating 50s and hundreds of videos in the future. And also visit freebusinesshelpnow.com. You're going to find a lot more content there. You're going to find over 50 articles on freebusinesshelpnow.com that might help you in this new business that you're starting or in a business that you already own. So until tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, this is Randy Kirk on Small Business Daily.